Welcome to Emotionally Balanced with Dido Balla, where we make emotional regulation easy and accessible for you and everyone. Join me and my guests for real conversations and practical tools to help you navigate life's ups and downs with confidence, calm, and clarity. Welcome to Emotionally Balanced with Dido Balla. I'm your host, and today's guest is my man, my brother, Abdul Muhammad II. I mean, this guy right here, he's everything. So he is a marketing genius. He is a life coach. He is a mindfulness trainer. He is a producer. He is a rapper. He's a martial artist. I mean, he's everything. So you are going to be in for a treat for our conversation. We talk about everything. I mean, I can't wait for you to dive in. I could say more about Abdul, but the best way to meet him is to meet him. So without any further ado, let's jump in. Enjoy the episode. All right, we're live. I'm here with the one and only Abdul, my brother. I am so grateful that you're here because it's been a long time coming. So first thing first, before anything, thanks for saying yes to my invitation, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, brother. It's my pleasure. Always a great conversation when I'm with you.
All right, man, let's do this. So look, Abdul, you're someone that I met years ago. And I remember I met you because I was going through this little phase in my life where I realized that everywhere I went in the realm of emotional intelligence, emotional regulation, mindfulness, I just did not see Black men. And I started saying that out loud. And I think I was at an event in Miami when I mentioned this in a group full of people. And I think Jennifer Hudson, her name is, is always said, "Oh, I know this guy, Abdul, and he did everything, all the things you say you're doing, he's doing too. You got to meet him." And I met you, and since then, I mean, we've done so much together. I mean, it's been quite the journey. And the podcast here is about being emotionally balanced, but for everybody, right? The podcast is about showing everyone that you don't have to have the 10 years of experience in mindfulness. You don't have to be an expert in emotional regulation, or you don't have to have gone to 10 retreats. You don't have to have had that 13 certifications in order for you to regulate your emotions. If you're a human being listening to this, you have all the tools that you need to regulate your emotions and to be emotionally balanced. And being emotionally balanced at will and on demand is a superpower. If you are able to understand your emotional system enough, your nervous system enough, and you're able to find some tools that allow you to, on demand, feel yourself being wound up, feel yourself being triggered, and notice it, and grab one of these tools and right away shift your emotional state, you are a superhero because nothing can touch you. You don't control what happens to you, but you will always control how you respond to it. And I want people who are listening to understand how powerful this concept is, but how accessible it is. So I want to pass it on to you, like whatever it is that's coming to your mind as you think about what I just said. Let's just dive in and have a dope conversation, brother.
No, I love it, and I appreciate the background and just rooting us in our superpower as human beings. And as you were speaking about, oftentimes people just don't think about it. They're not educated about it. And that's why I love and appreciate the work that you're doing, which is making it accessible. And, you know, from the moment that we're born as human beings, we are taught to look outside of ourselves in order to determine who we are and how we should be. And the beautiful thing about what you're teaching is understanding the body and how to regulate is really access to your true self, to who you really are, put here on the planet to be and do. And I always like to make this reference that, you know, you see a lot of parents out there with children, and they're trying to teach these children things. And the one thing that we all should be learning is that, you know, we really are the only child we should be taking care of here on the planet.
Oh, tell them.
It takes a little while because when I tell them, they're like, "What? I don't understand what you're saying." I'm like, yeah. I know you had children. And just because your anatomy and physiology provides the ability for you to have children, that doesn't make you a parent, nor does it make you ready to parent or lead or to raise that child. All that means is that you were what the universal light chose to bring forth, that 3D being whose job is to manage and regulate itself.
Wow. So, okay. So there's so much in there, right? So you are grounding us on the self, on the fact that we are trained to often feel like everything that we need is outside of us, right? Whether it be needing a cell phone with applications that can help you, whether it need using substances to make you feel better, or whether it means needing other people to be there for you. And
Right.
while all those things can be useful, what you're saying is when it comes to being emotionally balanced, the first principle really is know thyself and learn how to regulate thyself.
Thyself. You got it. And that's why it's what connected you and I is really this commitment to educating and sharing what we've been blessed to understand about ourselves, which is that very point. And I feel like this is universal knowledge. It's not like, oh, Dido and Abdul are so smart and we came up with the way, right? Like this stuff has been around for thousands of years. It's the same stuff that every religion professes to teach. It's the stuff that, the true yogic practice, right? People think of yoga as only asana, but the true yogic practice in all its principles is trying to get us to teach Taoism, Buddhism, Yahweh, Jehovah, spirituality. It's all trying to get us to this truth. And all I've done is to articulate it in a way where hopefully people who look like me, who've shared a similar experience as me, and who see themselves in me can relate in a way that they may not be able to relate to the religion who's saying it, or their mother or father, or the teacher, or whatever. But they may relate to the way I articulate it and the way that I have come across my own self-discovery as I have made the commitment to go inward into the innerverse, to focus on the things that only I can control, which is what gives me my superpower. It's the only thing that allows me to self-regulate. And I speak and articulate that to, it's not a religion. A lot of people have documented and call it a religion. I call it 9 seeds. I call it lifestyle synthesis. And the way I articulate it is in the form of seeds or values that we choose to take on. And as you're born, as I was explaining, your only job is to parent yourself, right? Is to feed yourself, and what you should be feeding yourself rather than what your mama, your daddy, the Instagram, Fox News or CNN News or whatever tells you. What you should be feeding yourself is these universal vibrations that I call seeds. And the first principle of those seeds is full self-expression. Full self-expression. And that is a universal law, or as I like to say it, one of the 9 seeds. It's the first one of the 9 seeds, self. And it's a vibration that every human being, no matter who you look like, where you were born, which from, race, this, that, and the other, every human being, when they were born, their heart is beating to be self-expressed. When the child is born, it goes, ah! The theme is different, Dido's and Abdul's, but what we're doing is everyone is doing the same thing, right? You're welcoming yourself to the world. Who am I? I'm fully self-expressed. And at that time, that child doesn't care how the scream sounds. It does not care whether it shrieks or hits the tone. It does not care whether it's black or white. What it cares about is that I am here and I am fully self-expressed and the world because I'm here. And we lose our true self-expression as we live. And your job is to unlearn everything that has been come on to you from the moment you are fully self-expressed in your authentic being.
The nuggets of wisdom are being dropped. Nobody warned us.
The boy don't play, yo. Look at we only on the first seed, bro. We got 8 more to go.
They were not ready for it. So, okay.
That's why I give it to them in doses. That's why I dropped the first EP with only 3 seeds on it. So
Let's go.
for a year.
Let's go, baby. Yo, okay, so much in there, so much. Okay, so you just heard everything Abdul said. If you were taking one clear thing from it that anybody could understand, you listening right now, you know you felt that concept of self-expression. You felt that idea of full self-expression. When was the last time you were able to make noise and be loud like that, like Abdul just did? Like, do you allow yourself to do that? Or do you conform to what you were taught that you're supposed to be? And you all know your body feels restricted when you aren't able to fully express yourself, right? So when you think about the last time, let's make it practical. Think about the past 2 weeks. Within the past 2 weeks, think about a couple times you were extremely emotionally triggered and stressed or anxious. Think about it. Now, look at that version of yourself. How was the body feeling? Was it feeling tight or was it feeling relaxed? It's more likely it was feeling tight. And then if you were in front of somebody and you were feeling something that you wanted to say, but you couldn't say it, remember exactly how you felt. Imagine how your body, your nervous system would have felt if you had been able to just fully, authentically express yourself. Like, how liberating would that feel? And what Abdul just talked to us about is this concept of often something happens to you, your nervous system gets triggered, you feel constricted, and look, you don't even have to do it in front of people. You can remove yourself, put yourself in a room alone, and fully out loud say everything that comes out, whether it be a noise, a phrase, a mantra, a song, a chant. Just say it. Like, don't allow the thinking brain to stop your emotional self from expressing itself. And that tool right there is something anybody who's listening can use. You can do that today. Like, go to the beach, go somewhere where you know you can be your full authentic self and express yourself in any way you want. And what that does, as I'm thinking about this too, is it also reminds you of the importance of choosing your circle and your people wisely when it comes to emotional regulation. Because if you spend a lot of time around people where you know that when they're around, you can't be your full self. When you're around them, even though you feel things and want to say things, you can't do it. That's your body, your nervous system giving you signs and signals to teach you that that's not where you're supposed to be, right? So, and then when we are with somebody else and you're like, oh, I could just relax my shoulders. I can just inhale and exhale and be loud. That's your nervous system telling you, oh, I found my people. So this full authentic self-expression could allow you to regulate your emotions when you're alone. But in addition to that, finding the people who make you feel like you can do that freely is also one of the cheat codes towards the superpower of emotional regulation. Woo!
Absolutely. I mean, you've gotta surround yourself with people that we like to use the language reflect your greatness. And the way you do that is, what is a reflector? Like, what's the best reflector? It's a mirror, right? And so if you want to be around people that reflect your greatness, the best way to do that is for you to show up and reflect their greatness, right? You see that? So if you want to have your greatness reflected, the quickest way is to go find people who you admire that have greatness and reflect it to them. Because people who are great, when they receive that love and that reflection, great people, their vibration is high vibe, so they immediately will show gratitude because they know what gratitude does. Gratitude releases oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine. These are happy hormones in the body that reduce cortisol, anxiety, and stress. And people who are high frequency or people who people admire are typically people who they're not stressed, they're successful. So they're people who typically practice gratitude. So when someone comes to them and reflects their greatness, their response isn't going to be like, yeah, I know I'm all that. Right? It's going to be, thank you for seeing me. You're awesome for genuinely. And now all of a sudden, the person who wanted to feel greatness because they gave it Now, all of a sudden, they receive. These are divine laws. Access to everything you want, you get by being contribution to others. So you have to be that which you want to have in your world. And most people sit there and go, I want this, they're not giving me this. They're in the relationship. They're like, I want love. You don't love me. You don't see me. You're not there. Meanwhile, they're sitting there not seeing the person that they love, not supporting the person that they love, but they want support. It's like they're going when it's everything is conditional. When you do that, then I'm going to do this. But universal law is you be. And then you surround people who reflect your greatness. Because then all you got to do is show up and be like, you're great, you're great, you're great, you're great. Selfishly. Because what's happening? You're giving gratitude, which you're getting happy hormones, right? So it's selfish. Go to the drugstore. Instead of paying money, I'm going to hang with Dido because he's awesome. And every time I see him, brother, I love you. It's awesome. You're great. You're doing this, right? He's like, dang, he loves me. He's awesome. He's great. Which is true, but it's true because I'm releasing oxytocin and dopamine. So now when I'm around Dido, because I reflect my greatness for him, my gratitude for him, I am literally releasing dopamine, oxytocin, and cortisol, and cortisol is being reduced in my body, literally by virtue of just being a good friend and telling my boy I love him and how great he's doing. I am literally saving myself from paying for drugs that reduce anxiety and stress. And I'm not going to say the brand names because that's going to give them advertising, but y'all know who y'all paying your money when y'all popping the bills instead of saying to someone you love that you've carefully curated, right? You can't do this if you got bums and low vibration people around you. You can only do it when you got people that are up to great things like Dido and other people who I have sought to curate around me so that it makes it, and it's 100% authentic. This ain't working if you're going up to someone and you're just saying, oh, I love you, you're good, so I can get my dopamine. No. You got to be around people who you're like, yo, this brother's awesome. He actually is helping people. He actually is doing things that's aligned with my ethos. I actually support what he's doing. He actually works out every day and I see him and that motivates me. I don't care how many followers he has. I don't care if he has an entourage. I could give a crap about how much money he has in the bank account. But I see that brother looking healthy, always positive, always trying to work, asking me what I need. And so forever, that's who I want. That's the energy I want. So I'm going to pour into that so that I can receive more by being grateful for what the universe has put in front of me, that which I want, rather than looking at all the other people, because Lord knows there's more of them out there who I don't respect, who I think are, I love it.
Yeah, of course we do.
Who I think are a little bit more challenged with the brain than I am. Or who I like to hang around with. And there's charity work, and then there's like, yo, I want to hang and get stuff done work. And you gotta balance your time. And there's time for charity when I'm down with hanging with people that ain't really sharp and running like that. And I love them because they're giving me something else. There's reciprocity in this universal law. It's energy that we're talking about. And so when you're exchanging energy, people want energy, but they're unwilling to create it and give it because they're not aware of their own self-power. They have no belief in themselves. They're looking for their mamas and everything outside to validate so that they feel the energy, so they feel the confidence to even give a compliment because they ain't feeling it themselves, but they want it. And so when you understand the 9 seeds and self comes first, you're free. You're free to express what's there for you. And when you're free to express what's there for you, you have confidence, you have courage, you know that you are the light. And that's just a choice. And you touched on it earlier. You only can control what you have the power over, right? And if you focus your energy on the things you can control, what's the first and the only thing you can control is your belief, what you believe in. Do you believe the glass is half empty or half full? It's your belief. No matter what analogy, no matter what way you say it, the oldest one that most people recognize, half empty, half full. It's the most common way to say it, right? But literally what that's getting to is what we're talking about, self-belief. You have to believe in yourself, that you believe that it's half empty or half full. Because if you don't believe in yourself, is it half empty or half full? I don't know. Mommy, daddy, professor, influencer, policeman, black people, white people, women, divine energy, Buddha. Is it half empty? Is it half full? Right? Like at the end of the day, right? The only thing that matters and the only thing that gives power is your choice to believe, is it half empty or is it half full? And depending on what you believe is going to empower you or not. And that takes us to the second. So once you have the first seed, which is full self-expression, self, right? That allows you to believe in your ability to choose powerfully what is inside of you. The only thing you know. No one can know what you know, right? You know whether it's half empty or half full. Sometimes it's half empty because you drank half of that shit. So it is half empty. And sometimes it's half full because you're pouring into it. Which one is true? Is it half empty or half full? They're both true. And when you understand that, and you understand my belief and my choice is the only thing that matters in this world, reality or not. And that's full self-expression. And then whether you believe that it's half empty or half full is the second principle. Empowered. Empowered. I make sure that the story I tell myself, is it half empty or is it half full? One of them is empowering and one of them is not. It's that simple. You understand? One of them is empowering and one of them is not. It's my choice to decide whether I'm going to do what? Believe in the story that's empowering or not. Is it half empty or is it half full? Now, if the thing was full of poison, it's more empowering for me to think, oh, it's half full versus half, right? It's like depending on the condition determines whether it's half empty or half full. You don't care either way, right? It's your belief and your choice. Then this is what we're getting at. So the first principle is full self-expression. The second one is empowered. You're telling yourself a story either way, half empty, half full. Which one's empowering? You better choose to believe the empowering one, because if you don't, it ain't the white man's fault. It ain't the Democrats' fault. It ain't the Republicans' fault. It's your fault for choosing to believe a story that's disempowering. The truth is it half empty or half full? It's both. That's the truth. It's both. Fucking both. You understand? And so which one in this moment right now, because the past doesn't matter and neither does the future. The only thing that matters is right now. So right now, is the glass half empty and half full? It depends. Which is the most empowering context for your life right now? And when you operate like that in a divine law, first, be fully self-expressed. Check. Now, empowered. What story do I need to tell myself so that I'm feeling energized and upbeat and high frequency and empowered versus, oh, I'm a loser, it's half empty, and I'm 49 years old and I'm broke and I got debt and no one likes me and I'm not getting anywhere and I'm black and the Democrats just lost, so life sucks. Right?
Oh man, y'all know, you understand why I love this guy.
It's a choice.
Oh, it's not a choice, man. I'm loving it. I would just like keep giving you the alley oop because you can just they can just take it, man. So
I might be short, but I know how to play ball, man.
let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's keep going, man. This is like I'm loving everything, right? So a couple things that are coming from what you're saying that I want to ground us on is this idea of choice. You choose what to focus on and you find what you seek. So it's that simple. It is, if you think about the power of gratitude, there's a very simple exercise to do, right? So based on how our brains are wired and naturally evolved, we are trained and conditioned to think about the things that we don't have, the things that we can't do, and obsess over the mistakes of the past or the anxiety of what might happen in the future. So to reframe that, based on what Abdul just told us, it is train yourself to focus on the things that you do have. It's that simple. What is it that you have? I'm not trying to hear what you don't have, because if we have to make a list of things we don't have, we're all going to have a long ass list. That is not going to be an empowered story. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying it's not empowering, like Abdul said. So focus on the things that you do have. You have a lot. Anybody who is listening to this podcast right now, you are one of the luckiest people that has ever existed on earth. And I say that as an immigrant from Cameroon, as somebody who has family in other parts of the world, as somebody who understands that all of us is 3 or 4 or 5 degrees of people that if we look, we will find somebody who would give everything they have to be in our shoes right now, today. And I'm talking about basic things. I'm not talking about you wanting the biggest promotion to make the most money, to have the most followers on Instagram. I ain't talking about any of that. I'm talking about you woke up in the morning, when you looked outside, there was nobody chasing you. That's simple. There was nobody. There's nobody who was like, look, you were literally free to wake up and step outside and just there. There's nobody is coming for you. That's as simple as that. You can focus on breathing for 5, 10 minutes in the morning. There's air coming into your lungs. You are healthy enough to smell that cup of coffee that you're drinking. I mean, these are simple things that you don't realize that a lot of people don't have. Dude. Like the technology that's connecting me and Abdul right now, having computer, internet, choosing to be together in this moment and having a dope conversation. Like all those things are things that we do have. Like I'm not worried about what I don't have right now. I'm just like so grateful that I have this. Like, can you think about the likelihood of me coming from Cameroon, going to Washington State, thinking I was in Washington, D.C., being in the wrong state by mistake, going to school there, and then becoming a writing tutor, and then becoming a teacher, you're going to Miami. Think about the likelihood of that, and then me meeting Abdul. First of all, I hear the name Abdul, I'm like, oh, Muslim brother, let's go. And then his last name is Muhammad. I'm like, that's like coming back home in Cameroon, like folks from the north. I know a few Muhammad. I'm like, this is a very interesting connection right now. And then for us to go through years of working together, creating together, and do all of this, I'm grateful for it, man. Like, so if I start listening to things that I have, I can't stop either. And I'm so happy when I remember the things that I have. That's just one thing. And then the things that you can do, not what you can't do. Think about all the things you can do. There's so many things you can literally do. Like most of your day, you control. You control. You can decide that right now what I'm doing is I'm gonna find somebody dope and talk to them. And when you don't want to, just stop. You can decide, oh, should I watch a movie tonight? Should I listen to a podcast? Should I just sit and go to the beach? Like you can do so many things. You can walk. You can actually walk. You can stand on 2 feet and walk. You're healthy enough that you can move your body. Do you know how many people would give up so much to be healthy enough to walk? Think of the last time you hit your little toe on a table. You were in so much pain. It hurts. It hurts so much. It's like nothing else matters. Yeah, like nothing matters. Not the economy, not who's our president. Not in that moment, you're like, yo, this little toe is like, it needs to get right. Oh, think about when you have a toothache. Like when you have that, you're like, yo, this is so bad. So the fact that you can chew food right now and you can stay on your feet, like there are so many things to be grateful for. So, and you have the things you can do, the things you do have. And then the third thing is focus on the moment, the present. You can obsess over, oh, last week I should have done this, last year, oh, I made that mistake. Look, it is what it is, it's done. Or I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. You have no idea if you're going to be here tomorrow. Yep. You don't know. Yep. The only thing that's guaranteed is that you're here right now. So the more you can train your brain to be here right now, the more emotionally balanced you feel. And I'm connecting back to Abdul's second seed of empowering. Do you understand that your body receives signals from the world, and those, I call them sensations, right? Your brain gives you signals. They don't have any meaning. Your body feels something tingling here. It doesn't mean anything. Then from sensations, it goes to emotions. The emotions are the meaning that you give to the sensations. It's a decision if you train yourself. Because the same way I have a pain in my chest before I go speak in public, and I interpret that as I'm excited, I'm pumped up, I'm gonna go kill it, I'm good. The same way somebody else might feel the same sensation and tell a different story, give the meaning of I'm anxious, I'm stressed, I'm small, nobody's gonna believe me. So you choose the meaning that you give to the sensation, that's your emotion. And then from your emotion, you have your thought. The thought is the internal narrative that you develop inside from the sensation and from the emotion. So if you felt something in your chest, the sensation, you give the meaning to the emotion of that's excitement, then the internal narrative is I'm a dope speaker.
That's right.
I'm the kind of person
It's empowering now.
Yeah, it's empowering. I'm a dope speaker. Like, yo, when I go out there, I'm dope. Like, they can't wait for me. So when I go there, because after thought, then you have your action. Now, the way I show up and act, that's going to match that full cycle. You can see how I chose the empowering story and how that has a real impact on how I show up, what action I take. I give my speech, I kick ass, standing ovation, it's a wrap. That's the goal, right? Because that story could have been completely different. From the same sensation, you could have chosen the less empowering story, which could have led to you feeling like you have anxiety, you're somebody who can't speak in public, and therefore you start to take actions to avoid the opportunities that may lead to you speaking again. Whereas the way I just went through this right now actually empowered me because I chose the empowering story. So, y'all, there's so much that we're dropping. I hope you're taking notes. If not, you can pause, rewind. I'm just vibing. Abdul, appreciate you so much, man. So we had the first seed, full self-expression. Then we have the choosing the empowering narrative. What's next?
So the third seed, and we're only going to do 3.
That's it. We can't give them more than that.
That way you won't have me on anymore.
Exactly. Come on.
We'll do a part 2 for the next one. So the third seed that we're going to drop today is what you have always been for me since the day we met, is inspiring. You inspire me, brother. And so you told me your story. You came from Cameroon. We bonded about like the black thing and the fact that we were like, I've been looking for you. I've been looking for you. Like the inspiration and the joy has always been there. I'm like, I found my brother that's like on this mission with me. And it inspires me to feel like whether you're religious and you call the Almighty God, Yahweh, Jehovah, the divine flow, the spirit or whatever, angels, I feel like you inspire me because it's like you were put here on the planet to be my cat. And there's these people that you're acute that are for me. I'm gonna speak for myself, that I have been now consciously aware of that are being brought into my life to inspire me. And you're one of them. And so from that day, you've been like my running mate, that mirror reflecting. We keep moving. We're committed to the cause, a light warrior. And so I just want to thank you for that. And inspiration and being inspired is the third C. You have to be inspired in order to have your why. A lot of times you hear the language now, Simon Sinek and some of the traditional marketers. And yes, I'm a marketer, but I'm also a spiritualist, right? So I like to play on both sides and that bridge, right? So in the marketing world, we call it your why, right? And in the spiritual world, we call it purpose, right? Now, no matter what world you're looking at, let's talk about life and death, blue zones. There's a direct correlation with longevity and the connection of someone's years of life and their understanding or connection to purpose. And purpose, when you break down purpose is directly someone's inspiration. When you're inspired, that is an indication that you are standing in your purpose. And so the third seed is inspired. Because when you are inspired, you then reflect inspiration. And now you're back into that mirror, right? Reflecting greatness. So Dido inspires me. Now, I'm going to call out. I don't think I'm being cocky or conceited when I say this, but I know I inspired Dido as well.
It's a fact, 100%.
So,
100%.
so you get what happens because I'm mirroring his greatness. So guess what? Selfishly, I leave him inspired. I'm getting inspired. And you got two great people mirroring each other's greatness. And so what happens is when you have that kind of reciprocity, it creates this, like, put two mirrors together and see what creates. It creates infinite light. That's like boom, boom. And so we have no choice but to increase the vibration and the frequency of everything we touch. And when we co-create together from that place, he's a bad mofo by himself and I'm a bad mofo by myself. But when two people that are both inspired come together, you have what's called exponential force and velocity, of which whatever they're co-creating happens. And so he inspires me. And so that's the third seed. I encourage you to be a intentional curator of those around you so that they reflect your greatness, so that it makes it easy for you to stand in your 9 seeds of being fully self-expressed, because you have people around you that hold the space where you're able to be vulnerable and scream and loud and cry and do whatever you need to be, man, woman, or child, and have the safe space that you're going to be seen and heard and taken care of. And when you have that, that's full self-expression. And from there, you're empowered. And from there, you now are inspired by someone who holds the space for you to be fully self-expressed, stand in your true power as a human being. And now you have the inspiration and the why, the purpose, in order to take action. And we'll get into what that action is. And I hope that for you all, it's inspired, positive, high frequency action. And I'm going to do a selfish plug. There's a song out there to help you, done by Do Hot. And that song is streaming on all platforms right now. And it's called New Frequency. New Frequency. New Frequency. There you go. New Frequency by Duhak, Duhaq, and my man Big West. And these are facilitators, light warriors. And if you like some of the messages and the concepts that we talked about, tap into that music. It's a new frequency music, high vibe music. And if this resonated with you and what Dido and I are doing here on the planet, support this music, ready-made entertainment, and music that increases the frequency and vibration of human beings all across the planet.
Woo! Let's take it, man. So this is gonna be kind of a let's bring it home. I just want to tell you again, I've been waiting for this for a long time. When we met, like what, 4 or 5 years ago, almost at this point, it's this moment has been in the making for us to have this conversation that whole time. And the thing is, every single time we talk, we're like, we should have recorded that, man. We should have had a microphone. Like, we have these conversations. I mean, it's inspiring every single time. So to do it on camera it's a blessing. And you know, look, man, let me give you some of those flowers too, because one of the things that I admire the most about you is that you really go all in on that full authentic expression. Because look, I met this guy because I was in mindfulness. We're in mindfulness. Next thing I know, the guy is doing martial arts. I'm like, you're a martial art expert for what? And then he invited me to an event where we're going to speak about mindfulness, and then he's performing. what is going on with this brother? And he's good at all those things. It's not just like, it's not somebody who's like an actor who's famous and therefore wants to rap. This guy can really do it, man. He can spit, like, for real. And when I say martial arts, like, the guy's strong, man. Like, we've trained together a little bit here and there. Again, like, even in small little practice, the guy hurt me. Like, I'm like, I know you're not trying to be like, I know you're just like level 0.1, but like, I felt a little strong, if you ask me. I felt like that was a little strong. So this is a powerful human being. Like, I was like, I didn't drop all the wooden Fort Myers to come get hurt, like, by this man.
You're like, I thought we were friends, bro. What happened, man? So, I didn't need you to hit me that hard.
It's like, come on, man. We put training. So yeah, all jokes aside, man, it's like the physical strength is there, and it is equal to the emotional strength, which is equal to the creative strength. And I don't see that everywhere. And you know, the music element, the reason why I have it on the phone is not because I'm trying to just plug my friend. It's like, no, like, listening to, because I love music. This song is walking you through a mindful experience without you knowing it.
That's right.
Like high vibration flows through me. It's like breathe in, like new frequency, like high vibration flow through me, like let out. You don't realize as you're listening to a dope song.
Jedi mind tricking them. I'm reprogramming them, baby.
So I am encouraging everyone because I was listening to the song the first time, and then at the end I was like, why do I feel like I just meditated? Like what just happened? And that's part of emotional regulation. That's part of being emotionally balanced. Music does that to you. My people, there's music and there's music. All the things you're listening to that make you feel good, I promise you can listen to things that make you feel as good and even better, that has dope vibes, dope messages. I've seen it. It's the same thing we shared earlier. The thing about the human body is that it doesn't care how you get to what you want. Let me think about it. Let me break it down for you. If you need to lift 25 pounds 50 times to feel like your bicep is strong, it doesn't matter if the weight that you got was a dumbbell or a kettlebell or a rock. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. I've seen people back home who created the whole gym with like cement and things that people, if y'all saw that here, you'd be like, yo, what's going on? What's happening with that? What's that?
Guys like freaking.
Exactly, because it doesn't matter. Your body needs to receive something from the outside, some stimulus. And once it receives that, it does the work. Same thing with your emotions. The pills, the medication, the drinks, the dangerous behaviors, all the stuff it does inside your body, there are other things that can create the same thing in your body. It's the same literal chemicals that are being released. It's just that instead of doing something toxic, you express gratitude to somebody else. Instead of doing something dangerous that may hurt other people, you took a risk with your brother to create something, to create some art. That's dangerous. It's like, that may not work out. It's like, I would rather take the danger in community for something like that and get the same dopamine than do something stupid that's going to hurt me. So like, everything you're looking for is inside. Let me say it again. Everything you're looking for, you already have it inward within you. And the way I want to close with just a few minutes on this topic is this idea of being a man. You know, you and I have been friends long enough. And when I say long enough, it means that no matter how many actual years we've been friends, it feels like we're each other's people. We've always been connected somehow. We've done intellectual work together. We've done creative work together. We've done physical work together. We've laughed together. We've cried together. We say I love you very comfortably and we mean it. And you know, I know that somebody who's listening to this was like, these guys, man, I don't know about all that, man. I'm a strong man. I don't know about all those emotions, all those feelings y'all are talking about making me uncomfortable. So, you know, besides just listening to us and trying and trusting what we have shared, what would you say to someone who feels like, as a man, they're not supposed to be around the kind of stuff that we're talking about? What's your message to them, man?
My message is this. How are you created? Half man, half woman, right? So if you're sitting here now trying to be fully self-expressed and embody who you really are, but you're denying the feminine energy, which you're the one saying that's soft, not me, by the way. You're the one denying emotions that is in you that you're feeling and stifling, by the way, which makes you weak, which is, by your definition of a man, not manly. Anyway, right? You're afraid to say, I love you because of how someone, so that means you're afraid. So that means you're not a man. So that means you're a punk, right? We could do this all day long, right? So this is what I say to people who are ignorant is get educated. And when it comes to your education, it took your mama and your daddy to make who you are, one of you. And so if you acting like you ain't got no emotion because that's the mama stuff, then you're denying half your ass. Mm-hmm. And so if you deny half of yourself and you telling me I'm not manly, what I got to say to you is, and all the women that compare you and me, trust me, I'm going to get more than you with that attitude. Mr. Man.
Oh man, this is it, man. You see why I love this brother, man. So that's it. You heard it here. There's nothing unmanly about understanding your emotions, being in touch with your full authentic self. In fact, it makes you a better version of who you are.
Makes you a whole human being. Makes you a whole human being, using your whole brain.
Yes, all of it.
Like how do you say? I say this to the person. You have two hands, right? Do you only use one of them?
It's both. My man, I could talk to you for hours, for days. There's so many gems. Here you have it. You've heard everything from the importance of going within, the importance of finding full self-expression, the importance of choosing the empowering story, the importance of inspiring others and being inspired by others. And within all of that, these were tools for you to learn how to be emotionally balanced so you can develop your own superpower, because you are the best version of yourself, the sharpest version of yourself when you see the things coming at you and you feel in control of you. And that's the best gift we could try to give you, because we're also still developing, still growing, but we know it starts with yourself. And that idea of having a mirror and holding it across somebody else to show them their greatness is something I really want you to think about, and realize that more often than not, when you feel your worst and you want somebody to come do something for you, the best answer is for you to do something for somebody else.
That's right.
And with that, we're going to say goodbye. I'm going to give the last word to Abdul. Anything you want to say, right? So they already know. We're going to find you on social media. Listen to the song. This is just one song. He's got many songs, like Duhak. He's the man. So follow him everywhere. But what else do you want to tell people, whether it be parting words or something they should look forward to, whatever's on your heart, let's share right now.
I want to share to everyone, no matter where you are right now, no matter how challenging your life you may think is, or no matter how difficult the circumstances or situations that have taken place that you may be feeling, that you can get anywhere from here. You can get anywhere from here. And it starts first by believing in yourself. You have the power all up inside. And the moment that you understand that and you start to just breathe in, this is where your power comes from. When you breathe in, it connects the mind and the heart and the body, right? You are not this body. You are not this mind that has you thinking all of these things that has you stressed out. That's a physical thing like your hand. You can get anywhere from here, and you need to breathe to connect with your true self. And the breath allows you to become alive. And your body tells you where you need to let go of things, whether it's known or unknown. And oftentimes when you just sit quiet and breathe, you know what you need to let go of, whether it's anger, shame, jealousy, hate, guilt, whatever it is. And so in the breath and in that quiet belief, you can get anywhere from here because you're breathing, you're alive, whatever you're feeling, whether it's something somatic, like physical, that you don't really know what it is, or whether it's something you know darn well, just let that go. You need to just let it go, right? In that breath and in that moment, breathe in, let out. And from letting out, you now have what Dido was talking about. You have regulated your nervous system, and you are now activating your prefrontal cortex, which puts you in a position where you can problem solve, you can think, and you can address the things that are challenging you in your life. And so a way to say that scientific, complicated stuff and parting ways is you can get anywhere from here by breathing in, letting out, and creating. Breathe in, let out, create.
Create. Breathe in.
You are the creator of your world. Stop putting the power into everyone outside of you. You are the creator. Breathe in, access your power. Let out what's blocking you, and create. Create.
Breathe in, let out, create. That's what this guy does, man. Here I am repeating all this stuff. Next thing you know, it's gonna be a song where I'm doing all this.
Breathe in, let out, create. Breathe in, let out,
create. Oh, effortless. Check it out.
Streaming live on all platforms.
Let's go, baby. Man, I appreciate you, man. You're the man,
brother. Much love. I'm coming anytime you need me.
We do a part 2.